some Muslim scholars and the Muslim youth. Now, this came after a Muslim and political leaders meeting in Nairobi, which culminated in the constitution of a 9-member team that has traveled to Mombasa for dialogue with the youth. The team is expected back on Tuesday when they will table their report before high-ranking government officials.
Because it reached a point where you have seen youths are taking over mosques, they're taking over institutions. They no longer trust the leadership of the community that is there. And I think it's important to appreciate that these youth are Kenyans. They are our children, they are our brothers, they are our sisters, they are Kenyans. They are part of this society. And unless we find a solution as a nation, you know, it's not going to be a solution to simply say, let us shoot anybody whom we are not happy with. And the Muslim leaders are saying that they acknowledge that there is a disconnect, really, because what the Muslim youth are saying is that the leadership in this country of the Muslims have not been able to address the concerns of this community for a long time. Yet, the leadership has been trying to engage the government as much as possible on all these issues, on the renditions that people have been renditioned to Ethiopia, they have been renditioned to Uganda. Up to now, they're Kenyans in detentions in Uganda. They're Kenyans, all those issues. Deliberate profiling and discrimination of Muslims will not be a solution in solving the problems related to the war on terror, extremism, and radicalism. And the state needs to review its policy and engage in constructive dialogue as a way of addressing these issues.
All those stories lead us to inform the basis of our big question tonight. And it's not a yes or no response, but we would like to know your response on how to tackle the religious extremism that is now seeming to be getting out of hand. How do you think religious extremism should be resolved? That's our big question tonight. We'd like to hear from you. The number is 22155, 22155. You can tweet me at Betty Kyalo or at KTN Kenya, and we'll be interacting as we move along in the bulletin. Now, at yet another function in the city, debate on the Westgate siege returned as experts reflected on how the government handled the attack. The chief of Kenya's Defense Forces, General Julius Karangi, maintained that none of the 4 terrorists escaped from the mall. And for the first time, Karangi suggested that the bodies of the attackers had been ferried to the United States. But as KTN's Edith Kimani reports, the revelations left many questions still unanswered.
Almost 5 months after a 4-day siege at the Westgate Mall, government is finally speaking up over the whereabouts of the bodies of the terrorists.
From me, these fellows were killed by the KDF on Monday morning. It happened on Saturday. We finished them on Monday morning. And the bodies are with the FBI somewhere.
But that somewhere remains unknown. This assertion reinforcing the parliamentary committee report that categorically stated the Westgate attackers were all killed at the mall, despite the scarce evidence of the same. It is the first time the 2 defense bosses have admitted to the communication breakdown that was there during the siege.
After experiencing events and attacks of this nature, we have to become reflective practitioners. And the only way in which we can become reflective is when we sit down, analyze what has happened, try and learn the lessons, and then apply them.
This was a multi-agency approach that we adopted, and it will happen tomorrow and the day after. Because nobody has the sole monopoly on how to answer this.
These new details may just be the defense chief's saving grace, having been at the heart of blame from members of the public during the siege. Locally, the 4 suspects arrested in connection to the attack are still in police custody after the High Court denied them bail. Edith Kimani, KTN.
Now, over 84,000 residents of East Pokot are facing starvation following drought that has hit the entire sub-county. The East Pokot Deputy County Commissioner Daniel Kurui has confirmed that 19 out of 27 locations have been hit hard. KTN's Rachel Menza was in East Pokot, where she reports that wild fruits have now become the only remaining choice for many.
The wild fruits of Pokot The necessary fallback that has now become the only source of food for thousands of East Pokot residents, especially the elderly. The irony of cooked fruits may strike those who have the luxury of choice, but not to these people. Some of these fruits are so poisonous and dangerous that if they are not cooked for at least 10 hours, then the meal might just be a family's last one on earth. So this woman waits patiently.
Enyewe, ukikula kabla ijaiva, ukikula, yani tuseme ulikuwa na njaa na unataka kukula, lazima utakumbwa na nini, utahara, utakufa.
Just beside her home lies this grave of a family member she claims to have stabbed to death. For some, maize chaff from relief maize given months ago is now their way out.
Na hii machicha hii ya nini? Yanataka yan. Hiyo kitu anategemea kama iko relief. Relief anaenda karibu 6 hivi. Tunapata kidogo tu ya kilo 2. Na hiyo anakaranga huyo busa. Alafu anakula hiyo anaitwa dakayan kwa kitamaduni ya Kipokot. Ukipika ugali inaisha safari moja hiyo.
In some schools, the population of pupils has gone down drastically. Here, most of the families were forced to shift in search of food for themselves as well as their livestock.
Like today, we are supposed to have 143 students, pupils. But today we have 44, and this is an experience every time.
This is East Pokot's Tiati constituency. Areas that are hard hit by famine include Kositei, Naudo, Akwichatis, and Ginyang. Famine that area officials say was caused by drought due to failure of last year's short rains. People and the little livestock left now in perpetual struggle to make it through the day.
Most affected are the elderly, the lactating mothers, and of course children. Our schools have also been hard hit. The enrollment has gone down because of lack of food in schools.
Sasa mifuko wakati ya ukame inaanza kurekea mbuzi, kwanza inapoteza maziwa kuanzia mwezi wa 12. Sasa hii ya Januari hata wakisaa wanasaa ile inakufa tu, sio ile inasabika kuingia kwa boma.
Efforts to turn around the situation are underway, but the results won't be out for another 6 months at the earliest. At Kolowa area, 1,000 residents of Pokot are expected to benefit from an irrigation project coordinated by the Kenya Red Cross.
These are traditionally pastoralists, so this is almost like a model farm. A lot more needs to be done. East Pokot is very vast. And this is only the lower lying areas. There's areas in the highlands, Tangle Bay and Churo, that receive much more precipitation, so they should be able to farm a lot better. And the targeted food crops here is, I mean, the aim on this end is twofold. We're looking at food security for the household level, so looking at just food crops like maize and beans and just also trying to encourage some afforestation using fruit trees.
The longer term solution for this is to ensure that there is, we do not rely on rain-fed agriculture. We want to also do not rely on rain-fed livestock production. We want to try to do irrigation. We want to do provide as many water sources as possible.
Kamchemenza, KTN, from East Pokot in Baringo County.
Very sad revelations from East Pokot. Thank you very much, Rachel, for enlightening us about that. We now take a short commercial break, but before we go away, let's have a reminder of our big question tonight. And we're asking, how best should religious extremism be resolved? How best should religious extremism be solved? Let me just sample a number of tweets that have already come in. Yatich Zeph says, the solution is getting into the bottom line and answering the question, why are the youth being radicalized? This will give an answer. Thank you very much for that. And we continue to sample them as we move along. Welcome back to KTN Friday Briefing. Let's now turn to some education matters. And the laptops for Standard 1 pupils may finally be on the way. Earlier today, the government announced it had awarded the supply tender to Olive Telecommunications, an Indian company. The project will cost some 24.6 billion shillings. And as KTN's Patrick Amimo reports, the first consignment of 400,000 laptops is expected to arrive in the country next month.
About a third of primary school pupils in Kenya will now get the promised government laptops by the end of March. Education Cabinet Secretary Professor Jacob Kaimenyi announced that the company awarded the tender, Olive Telecommunications will roll out first.
The minister has therefore awarded a negotiated, phased-out delivery approach contract to Olive Telecommunications PVT Limited.
Olive Telecommunications PLC was founded in 2006 and is based in Gurgaon, India, with labs in India and China. Information posted on its website states that the company offers mobile handsets, wireless routers, wireless and 3G USB modems, notebooks, as well as Olive Pad, a 3G tablet that allows users to read and store books. A total of 16 companies submitted their tenders, but the government settled on 3. Olive Telecommunication quoted the lowest at 22 billion shillings, followed by Hewlett-Packard at 25 billion. China's Haier Electrical Limited was third with a quotation of 27 billion shillings. Some of the losing bidders have been quoted in sections of the media, claiming the tendering process was not above board and that Olive Telecommunication lacks capacity to deliver the laptops.
We spent taxpayers' money to send people to China, and they went there. They came back with good tidings that indeed this company has the capacity and capability to do exactly what is expected of them.
Olive Telecommunication is expected to supply 1.2 million laptops for pupils, 20,637 printers and projectors. The printers and projectors will be distributed, one to each public primary school. An additional 20,637 laptops will be for teachers' use.
Are already connected. Another 4,000 schools will be connected by June 30th. There's been engagement between the Ministry of Petroleum and Treasury, and we are hopeful that the Ministry of Petroleum will be given additional funds so that this can be utilized to increase connectivity.
The Cabinet Secretary for Education has also immediately reversed the recent hike in school fees in public schools and banned some extra levies.
To suspend with immediate effect all the levies and the school fees which were proposed for increment.
We are left with no choice but to give the Cabinet Secretary until the 11th of February, which is the next Tuesday, to one, announce to the public the disciplinary measures that he has taken for all national school heads.
Patrick Amimo, KTN.
Now, the Moi University and the Standard Media Group have signed a partnership in development and TV production. The deal will see the Standard Media Group and the university work together in the development of the university's television station to be launched soon. Under the partnership, KTN will offer both editorial and technical expertise to the Moi University station, particularly in content development. The partnership agreement was signed by Vice Chancellor Professor Richard Mibei and the Standard Group CEO Sam Shule.
But when I go there, some of the doctors that I see there, and I'm told
the knowledge that is generated from the universities, including ours, with this partnership, we will be able to actually extend or at least get the public to know what is being done in universities through this partnership, because we believe that with your coverage, we shall be able to reach more people within this country and beyond in the new developments that the universities are bringing up.
If we can get university students from the university producing programs that can be aired on a national television station like KTN at an appropriate time, I think this would really be welcome. So we'll support one another, make sure that the students can learn from practical experience, and I think we also talked about the area of
And as you can see, we are back with Dr. Alfred Mutua. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
This is official. You know, like every time you meet someone, you have to give them a handshake.
Well, it's
so I had given you a handshake earlier on. Great to have you in studio.
Glad to be here. Thank you very much.
Such a busy day.
Our days are very busy. But you know, it's service. It's service.
And it looks like you really enjoy yourself.
No, I enjoy because I feel that I'm in a calling.
Yeah.
Whereby all the things we've been talking about in this country for many years, asking ourselves, why can this be like this? Why can this be like this? It's giving us an opportunity to actually do something that can change lives.
Quite impressive developments, I have to say, that we've seen in Machakos County. I think you're trying to make a point that, you know, development is not too far-fetched.
No, it's not. You know, I was very lucky.
Yeah.
I grew up very poor, but I managed to live in the US for 7 years, lived in Australia for 4.5, lived in Dubai for a couple of years, then came back home, traveled widely. And we've seen people do a lot of the things that we fail to do. And it's not magic. It's about people having their priorities right, organizing themselves. I think our biggest weakness as a country is logistics. We don't know how to actually program and do things simultaneously. So I learned a few things and then have a clear idea and focus of where we need to go as Machakos County to remove us from this yoke of slavery, of what we call poverty, to at least wealth creation.
I like that. And I just want to take a few minutes and we'll have some pictures here on our super wall to just see the kind of developments that have been going on, you know, in the county, starting from what happened today, the park. It's, is it 34 acres on a 34?
It's actually 40 acres.
40 acres.
It sits on 40 acres, yes.
People at home can see that. Such a beautiful park, 20 million Kenyan shillings. Yeah, to just develop it. What are the
it's the 20 million is not just developing the park. You know, we've also built a road that goes to the park that actually opens up that area. We're looking at boreholes that also assists the community. Utilization of local labor, expanding part of the dam of Maruba so that the water coming is more, so that more people, the town of Machakos can actually get more water and a few other things. So it's not just developing the park, it's a project total where we're doing a lot of things.
The amphitheater, I mean, so many nice things, I must say. And of course, this, you know, the police vehicles and the inspectorate vehicles that you launched a couple of days ago.
I always believe that, and this is what people need to realize, that it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter whether you have got water in the house. It doesn't matter whether you've got food on your table. It doesn't matter what you have. If you cannot sleep at night because somebody is coming to rape you, because somebody is coming to cut off your head, because you can actually not even walk to enjoy the money you've made. So in terms of life, security is core to existence. You can't talk about wealth creation without first being secure, so that whatever you are creating is secured. So for me and for us in the government of Machakos, we felt that securing Machakos is very important. When I went to the villages as I was campaigning, I met mothers who had been repeatedly raped. And they say when you call the police, they tell you, hakuna gari, hata kama iko gari, hakuna mafuta. And I promised them we are going to solve that kind of shenanigan once and for all in Machakos County.
And how do you respond to accusations that probably your priorities aren't right? You know, this park that you've just, you know, launched today, and some hospitals are run down, some schools are run down. How do you respond to those accusations of
I don't know. I'd like people to actually point specifics. But also when you're building a house, you also need to lay a very good foundation so that actually the pillars can carry the rest of the house. Some of the things that you're doing, like creation of the basics. My philosophy and my principle in Machakos for the next 5 years is to concentrate on the basics. We have a huge program of health, for example. When you talk about health running down, you know, we are about to launch ambulances so that our mothers do not have to give birth on the road as they go to hospital. But we're also building, as we speak, spending over 500 million shillings, community hospitals, so that in every ward there's a community hospital with a maternity, with a lab, with an X-ray, with a ward, facilities well covered. We are making sure the drugs are in hospitals. Right now as we speak, there is no single clinic or dispensary or hospital in Machakos lacking gloves or doctors operating without the proper utensils or lack of medication. We have made sure that those small problems have been sorted. So people need to come to Machakos and see some of the things that we're doing. What county can you maybe compare, in your opinion, to Machakos County in terms of the time that, the county governments took off? Is there a county that is giving Machakos County a run for its money? No, but you see, we're not comparing ourselves with others. I'm comparing my biggest competitor is called poverty. That's one I keep on looking at. When I go to the villages and see the hungry eyes in our children, where we've suffered for many years. When I see the youth sitting, eating miraa because they have nothing else to do. When I see our mothers carrying mitungis like donkeys to come from the river, that is what I'm comparing myself to. That is what I'm fighting. And so all these programs I'm doing, I'm initiating. Look at the park, for example. We don't have a lot of money. We're a poor economy. So we have to be creative. We have to start thinking of what you call the low-hanging fruits. What can we do to get more money? Dubai, for example, as you say today, Dubai, I lived in Dubai. It's mostly desert and a seashore. I mean, when you think about it. And Dubai last year got over 100 million tourists, making close to 400 billion shillings. Dubai Emirate is smaller than Machakos by far. Now, if we can turn around Machakos and we get even a fraction of the people who went to Dubai and a fraction of the money, imagine how many taps of water we could install in every home. So how will this park translate, the profits that are made in this park, translate to the woman and the child you're talking about who are starved? What is happening is that as counties, the money being given to us from the National Treasury is not enough. We don't want loans in Machakos. I've told my cabinet, let us avoid loans. Let us avoid putting our kids into debt. Let us be creative and see what do we have. We want to make Machakos the tourism hub. I hope that Nairobians over the weekend will be spending their money in Machakos. They have a nice park they can come to. They come and leave several 100,000 shillings every week or millions. That park will be used for conferencing. People are tired of going to the same destinations for conferences. Companies have been coming to Machakos and saying, do you have a place you can come to? We'll be minting millions every month. And so that goes into our bank account. Then I'm able to have more money to build the badly needed roads. Then I have slightly more money to put the taps that are needed. But if I just sit and say I'll wait for money to come from somewhere else without being creative, it will never come. So in as much as we're utilizing the money we have for what is important, we also have to be creative to generate new ways of getting money without asking donors to help us. We have to get out of the donor mentality. I like that. If they could transform a desert in Dubai into 400 billion tourism, look at the hills and some of the things we've got in Machakos. We even have hills whereby you park your car and your car reverses uphill because it's got a reverse magnetism. That's what we want to support and supply to the rest of the world. All right, so we'll continue with the conversation, but you're our guest anchor tonight. Yes. Yeah, are you excited? I know you've been, in film, so this is probably not going to be that hard for you. No, not very. When I was in school, I know we're running out of I was one of the people, I went to Dagoretti High School and Jamhuri High School. We did news, those funny news, and I remember if we have time, I'll read one of them for you. No, you have to. One of them for you. Why not? We used to say, jemedari Anopheles culex mosquito jana alitangaza hali hatari katika nyanda za juu za nchi yake. Alitangaza hali hiyo baada mbwa wawili kuwa kinyama walipomshambulia mwanamke mmoja kila chakula chake cha jioni, yaani ugali na kamongo. Mbwa wote ulizwa etc. Panya mmoja jana aliaga dunia na mwingine akajeruhiwa vibaya sana walipogongana maili 7 kutoka Galani hadi Shimoni. Panya aliyejeruhiwa alionekana akiwa katika hali mahututi huku akitapika maharagwe na Royco mchuzi mix. Alikimbizwa hadi Panya General Hospital ambako anapata matibabu. Daktari mkuu wa hospitali hiyo, Daktari Panya Tauni, ameziomba panya zote zenye damu na Q negative kuikimbiza ili kuokoa maisha ya panya. Habari zingine etc. So we used to do those things when I was in Form 2, Form 3. You should come
read our KTN news, you know?
Maybe one of these
part-time job.
Oh.
That was good.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so let's now...
We try this one.
Let's try this one. Let's try now a real script,
Okay.
not with the panyas and straight home choosy mix. All right, so you'll introduce yourself and then take it away and, you know, give it some oomph.
Okay.
Yeah? Camera
Evening viewers, Alfred Mutua. In other news, more than 10 young people were arrested in Kisauni this afternoon for harassing motorists and pedestrians. The youth who had taken advantage of the tense situation in the county allegedly robbed people of their valuables and stoned cars. Kisauni OCPD Julius Wanjoi led an operation to flush out the suspects with the help of the local residents. The OCPD said they received information that a group of hey, I'm losing my eyesight, my friends. A group of youth were mugging people and moved quickly, combing the area because the area was tense due to the ongoing case against the suspects arrested at the Masjid Musa last Sunday. Is it Masjid Musa last Sunday?
Tena amepiga watu wawili, mmoja amedungwa kisu na mwingine ameangushwa, amepigwa, amenyang'anywa kila kitu. Amerudi, ameenda hospitali, sasa hii ameanguka pale. Gari 3 ndio zimepigwa zikaumizwa vio vyote kabisa. Sasa wenyewe wanachanganyikana tu na raia huku akiangalia polisi kama wamekuja upande huu wanaingia upande mwingine huku.
There was nothing apart from thugs taking advantage of a situation, because what we have seen is purely people mugging along this road, and it has got nothing to do with the radicalization issue of the Muslims.
You actually did quite well.
I can't see for some reason.
Why not?
I don't know. It's maybe the lights are in my eyes, or I'm losing my eyesight.
But I think
it's working too hard. I'm seeing the words are becoming blurry.
At some point you lost it. But you recovered very well.
But it's okay.
What do you think? Do you think you can do this sometime maybe in your life?
Listen, if this governorship doesn't work out, I'll be here with you.
Oh, please, but don't take my job.
No.
Now let's move on away from the politics and everything.
Yes.
What don't we know about Alfred Mutua? Something interesting.
I'm a simple man.
Are you?
I'm a simple man.
Are you simple with all these, designs that look?
No, but it is from simplicity that you're able to do much more. I'm simple in the fact that I live a very simple lifestyle. I don't have a lot of madoido. People forget, and people start living very heavy lifestyle when they get into power, thinking that that is how people expect them to be.
Yeah.
I'm a people's person. I love ugali and sukuma wiki and matumbo occasionally.
Oh, really?
Yes, very much.
Matumbo?
Matumbo, yeah.
Do you know how to cook it?
Yeah, you have to cook matumbo very well. And you have to wash it very well. But I used to, but I've not had matumbo for some time. So I grew up eating a lot of matumbo.
Maybe you can have matumbo
I like chapati and dengu.
Chapati and dengu?
Or rice and beans.
Rice and beans.
Yeah, those are the ones that,
Okay. I like, so
things like those. What else?
And when you're not, this governor, this super governor, what do you do? Your hobbies? I know you like dancing. We've seen you in a couple of places, always, shaking your leg and everything.
I like good music. I don't get much. I walk around a lot. I travel quite a bit. When I was young, I did a lot of martial arts.
Oh, really?
So I walk around. I still feel that my body is still fit. I wish I had more time to do it. But it's something that I like. It keeps you fit.
It keeps you fit.
It keeps you fit.
All right. One question that I saw someone asked. Do you have a celebrity crush? And let's keep it local. Tunajua tunajivunia kuwa wa Kenya. It's heading to the Valentine's season. I don't know.
It's going to be that's a very difficult question for
really?
me to answer. I don't know. I've never actually been awed by human beings.
What?
I haven't for very long. People thought I was weird. I never looked at human beings. I believe that you talk about God, you talk about Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's mighty power. But the late Nelson Mandela meant a lot to me.
Okay.
And what he stood for many years. When I was in high school, I was known as a big champion for freeing Nelson Mandela. When I look back, I look at the lives of Martin Luther King.
Okay.
And some of his speeches, some of the things he did. they give me great inspiration.
You've intelligently, found your way out of that question.
No. but there are people I admire.
Yeah.
There's some people I admire. I admire the former president, Mwai Kibaki. I got a chance to work with him very closely.
Okay.
People like Ambassador Mudaura,
okay.
In the politics sense, and a few other. We've got good people in this country.
Okay. All right then. I'll let you go with that one for today.
No. And then and then there are people like yourself.
Oh yeah.
Who
I
are
was
very
waiting
good
for that.
at what they do.
All right, Governor. All right, we're running out of time, but we want you to introduce our business, anchor. So you'll still use this camera too. He's going to be hearing you from a different studio.
Okay.
Take it away.
And now, viewers, let us turn to business news. We've got Bonnie Tunya waiting to tell us about how the market is doing and how everything is going. Bonnie, habari ya biashara, how is the business in this country going today?
Mzuri sana, Bona Governor. You actually did well in Swahili, better than English, so probably we could try you out on, say, KTN Leo. But more coming up on business.
Unajua ni lugha ya taifa.
Good evening, wherever you are. This is the Friday Briefing Business Beat. My name is Bonnie Tunya. Now, Safaricom Limited and Airtel Kenya have been barred by a Nairobi court from discussing or entering into any transactional deal with Essa Telcom, popularly known as U Mobile. In an email correspondence seen by KTN Business, Essa Telcom employees, through their lawyer Charles Kanjama, had sought the order, claiming their interests were at stake in the planned sale. The employees also noted that proper negotiation between them and their employer needs to be instituted before the planned sale. However, sources at the Competition Authority Kenya have indicated that such a notice has not been made to them. The central government has stepped in to mediate between private coffee marketers and the governors from coffee-producing counties. Now, this is expected to end the current stalemate in the coffee industry. Here's KTN's Philip Keitani with that report.
The grandstanding between private coffee marketers and governors from coffee-producing counties has been on for some time now. This at one time saw the closure of the Nairobi Coffee Exchange as a sign of protest. County governments insist that their actions were aimed at providing value for money for the thousands of coffee farmers. On the other hand, the millers accuse the governors of overstepping their mandate. But now the government is stepping in to find a common ground.
What we have agreed is that we will sit and relook this strategy so that we incorporate all the concerns coming through and the new developments. And I think we are going to go places.
In the new constitutional dispensation, agriculture has been devolved to the county governments. It is out of this that county governors have taken steps in ensuring that previous marketing structures conform to the devolution system.
Granted, issues of extension have been devolved equally, and we do respect that could bring in a higher level of efficiency, because then supervision of production is right at the base where the farmer is, and we do appreciate that's a good move. Issues of research on the other side remain at the national level because of the scope and coverage.
Over the years, coffee production in the country has suffered as many farmers venture into other crops or selling out their farms for use in real estate development. Philip Keitan, KTN Business.
The United Kingdom is poised to improve its trade with Kenya in what it terms as correcting balances that have been skewed in the wake of the new economic partnerships globally. Here's KTN's Adele Changole with that explanation.
The United Kingdom is one of Kenya's key trade partners. Statistics indicate that 8.5% of Kenya's exports end up in the UK, while 3.4% of imports into the country originate from Britain.
The actual bilateral trade with Kenya is £1 billion pounds, so that's 130 billion shillings. UK is the third largest export destination for Kenya.
However, the trade balance between these two countries have gone down over the years as new economic partnerships have come to the fore. But in the last 5 years, the UK has made deliberate attempts to correct this by diversifying into new sectors away from the traditional ones. This has seen a number of UK lifestyle firms open shop in the country, targeting a slice of the growing middle class.
In March, we have another trade mission coming out, with Aberdeen Chamber coming out with the London Chamber of Commerce.
With this, the United Kingdom hopes it will regain its position as one of the leading trade partners with Kenya and tap on the growing economic opportunities.
This is all part of sort of the UK government's initiative to try and double exports out of the UK by 2020.
The UK is hoping to capitalize on the growth of Kenya's middle class, who have higher disposable incomes and more discerning taste to achieve their growth targets. Adelaide Changole, KTN Business.
Very quickly, let's take a look at other business headlines that made it to our business desk today. And here's the KTN Corporate Roundup.
Maize farmers in North Rift have urged the government through the National Cereals and Produce Board to decongest Moy's Bridge Depot in Uasin Gishu. This comes as the farmers from the region are forced to spend up to 4 days queuing at the facility, waiting for space to be created for fresh produce. Led by former Minister Noah Wekesa in Uasin Gishu Moi Bridge's member of County Assembly Daniel Sanga, they called on the government to also dispatch maize to hunger-stricken areas and put in place more buying centers to lessen the time farmers spend in the long queues. Elsewhere, global ingredient manufacturer Ingredion has re-entered the market following the merger of Corn Products International and National Starch. The US-based firm shut down its factory in Eldoret in 2002 following scarcity of maize that made it costly to operate in the Kenyan market. Through the new structure, the company is working with various industry stakeholders to improve and stabilize market conditions, but remains non-committal on when the company would reset up a new factory in Kenya. Finally, women of Siaya County have been urged to adopt table banking as a tool to empower them financially. Speaking at the training forum organized by Women Representative Christine Ombaka, Deputy President William Ruto's wife, Rachel Ruto, called on women to form and register groups, deposit money, and take loans with the intention of bringing interest back to the group.
Finally, here's a look at how the numbers looks like on the financial market review that is coming up next. Well, that's how business looks like on this rainy night in Nairobi, where Unga Group made up, just getting up 7 points to be the biggest gainer of the day. I have more numbers on Monday. My name is Bonnie Tunya. Have yourselves a great weekend.
KTN Business, in association with Safaricom Self-Care.
To get your M-Pesa statement, PUK, Bongo Points and more without calling customer care or visiting a Safaricom shop, simply log on to www.safaricom.co.ke and click on Self-Care.
Thank you very much, Tunya, for that. And of course, thank you very much for keeping tuned into Friday Briefing and all these comments that I'm seeing on, of course, our guest anchor tonight, Governor Dr. Alfred Mutua. Remember, he's still in studio and he'll be answering some very interesting questions in just a short while. But for now, let's have a top story, a recap of our top story tonight. And for one more night in Mombasa, where security personnel patrolled the streets fearing a fresh eruption of chaos. Earlier, terror suspects who were arrested at the Masjid Musa last Sunday were remanded for 6 days. Time to cross over live to Kisumu County, where Willis the Wordmaster is standing by for tonight's lesson. Good evening, Mr. Spinach.
You are calling me Mr. Spinach
until
my earphone is going off.
Sorry for that, Willis. Great to see you tonight.
Okay.
Let's begin with our first word. Is it February or February? A lot of pronunciations on that word.
Well, Betty, when we are talking about the English, we say February. February. Somebody may say February, but this is a case of affectation. Some would take it to be sounding stylish, but the English simply has it as February. Just like we say January, April or April. And we also have August.
Right, Willis,
not
I like
August.
it. I like it when you give those examples. Let's move on to the other word. Over the week, I had a very interesting pronunciation of a word that we know as intestine. What is the correct pronunciation of this word?
There is something I will say there, Betty, first.
Okay.
In most cases, people choose styles. For instance, media houses. Some may go the American accent or pronunciation. There are those who go for the British pronunciation. And this is where we have RP, received pronunciation, and we say intestine. We don't have a vowel glide, what we call a diphthong, a glide involving two vowel sounds. So we just say intestine. Just like we pronounce the name Christine, not Christine. We also have masculine, not masculine, and feminine, not feminine, the way some people may, wish or like to pronounce the word.
Okay. That intestine will take some time before it takes effect, but I'm glad that we know now. All right, now often in news reports you hear a cache of arms. Is this right?
When we talk about a hidden store of arms or weapons or maybe money, we talk of a cache, not cache. C-A-C-H-E, cache, a cache of weapons. But when we talk about special quality of something that maybe people can admire, then here we talk about cache. That is C-A-C-H-E-T, Betty.
Okay. So it's a cache of arms, not cache. Right, moving on. Is it okay to say theoretical or theoretical?
That is almost a surprise word, Betty, because many people are used to saying theoretical, just from the word theory. Yes, we have theory, but when the word changes its form for grammatical function, then we say theoretical, re. Even the spelling is not retical, it's re, E instead of I. So if you check that, I know you'll be shocked. We say theoretical. Now, we also have the word obscene. When we change it for grammatical function, we say obscenity, not obscenity. We have obscene, but obscenity. Just like the word sincere is sincerity, not sincerity, as many people may mistake it to be.
Right, Willis. Moving on to another tricky word. When we're talking about a crowd of people, is it a multitude or a multitude?
That one we say ma, the sound which is a mid-central vowel, multitude, not multitude. Okay. We also say multiply, not multiply. Many people think it sounds, stylish to say multiply, multiple, but the sound which is correct is ma, multiply, multitude, multiple, Betty.
All right. Let's now move on to another favorite time of Mind Your Language. What's your surprise word for tonight?
Betty, I believe you and I and every other fellow Kenyan may be hearing about Greenwich Meridian Time, GMT, Greenwich.
Yeah.
Most people pronounce that W, but that W is silent. That would be a surprise to many people. We say Greenwich, not Greenwich. Just like we have the word answer. We don't say answer. That W is silent. And I may add you another word. We say withdrawal, not withdrawal. That W is silent. And finally, we also have the word draw. That is for furniture. We don't say drawer. No, we say draw. And if you want to talk about somebody who deals with a bank check and all that, you say a drawer. You don't pronounce that W as drawer. No, drawer. We have also drawee, not drawee.
Okay.
Tricky.
That's tricky. Greenwich Meridian. Willis, sawa. Let's move on to our feedback. And Bernard Nyauchi wants to know the correct pronunciation of this word, S-H-R-E-W-D. Is it shrewd or shrewd or shrewd?
Where we have E and W,
Yeah.
we pronounce it as a long vowel oo. Shrewd, shrewd. Just like allude, not lewd. We don't say shrewd, we say shrewd, shrewd. A shrewd businessman.
That has been quite a show tonight. Thank you very much for tonight's words on Mind Your Language.
Thank you to Betty, and next week, just as usual, right on my seat for any word that you may think about, so long as it's basic English word.
Thank you very much, Willis, for that. It has been Mind Your Language right here on KTN Friday Briefing. Keep those words coming for Willis, the word master.
Time now for KTN Sports. I'm Nicholas Mudimbo. I begin with volleyball here in the country, where Egypt slowed Kenya's journey to the masculine World Championships in Poland in August after beating the host in 3-1. The defeat coming in the back of Thursday's emphatic victory over Cape Verde means that Kenya has no room for mistakes in her remaining matches against Botswana and Zambia. The Pharaohs started strongly, pulling off a 25-21 in the first set, and after the second set's pep talk with coach Chenje, the homeboys showed some respectability by winning the third set 25-20. That was the only set victory for the home team, as North Africans clinched the match with a 25-20 victory in the fourth set. Kenya takes a rest tomorrow as Egypt plays Zambia at 2 p.m. Cape Verde will come up against Botswana at 4 p.m. Right now, move to Wellington, where the sad news from Wellington, where the Kenyan national sevens team will play Portugal in the ball quarterfinal early tomorrow. Shujaa failed to make it to the quarterfinals of the main cup for the second time in a row under Paul True. Kenya lost her first two pool matches in Wellington to Samoa and Australia before registering a 47 thrashing of Tonga in a case of too little, too late.
Kenya was relegated to the ball after failing to replicate its last season's form at Wellington that saw the Kenyan Airways sponsored side qualify for the main cup final only to lose to England in sudden death. It could easily be blamed on the slippery pitch as opposed to last year's dry conditions, but the Kenyan team seemed somehow out of sorts, allowing Samoa's Reupena Levasa to touch down in the first minute. That try was converted for a 7-0 lead. Oscar Ayod could have equalized, but Biko Adema missed the conversion as Tulolo and Kelly Mefua extended the lead to 19-5 before the breather. Daniel Sikuta slipped through Samoa's back row to increase Kenya's tally, but Samoa had covered ground for Kenya to catch up with them. Levasa had made it 24 for Samoa before Sikuta's touchdown. Australia, who lined up for Kenya's second match, did not look like the side they turned out to be, as Paul True charges failed to offer credible challenge. The Aussies scored a try after try for a final score of 24-0 that relegated Kenya to the ball competition before the final match against Tonga. Against Tonga, Kenya rose to the occasion with Dennis Ombachi, Oscar Ouma, Oscar Ayodi, Antonio War, all touching down as Biko Adema made successful conversions to wrap up Kenya's group matches campaign. Kenya will face Portugal in the ball quarterfinals as they seek to return home with at least some points and a silverware. Lane Washira, KTN.
Now back in the country, Gor Mahia fans will be under the Confederation of Africa Football's microscope tomorrow when the Kenyan champions play US Bitam of Gabon in the first leg of the Africa Club Champions League at the Nyayo Stadium. Football Kenya Federation top brass who met with AFC and Gor Mahia officials at the Nyayo Stadium this afternoon urged the fans of the two clubs to observe CAF security rules. Leopards lay in wait to disarm defense of Ethiopia on Sunday. Leopards and Gor Mahia fans were in the news for all the wrong reasons last weekend during the Kenya Power Charity Cup. Gor Mahia players and those of the visiting teams, Defence and Bitam of Gabon, got a chance to have a feel of the match venue in the Nyayo Stadium this afternoon. Coaches of the host teams have promised the supporters to take advantage of the home ground and increase the passage to the second round of the tournament. Now moving to rugby now. Kenya Cup leaders and title contenders Top Fry Nakuru welcomes second-placed KCB in their backyard in Nakuru tomorrow in a match every rugby fan is waiting for. That top bid of the match is one of the 6 matches lined up for the weekend. Top Fry are top in the table with 49 points, maintaining a 100% record since the season started. The Bunkers are 6 points behind the second position. While Top Fry will be seeking to maintain the unbeaten record, the Lions will be out to break that dominance and close in on the leaders. In other matches, Strathmore welcomes Mwamba, while Mean Machine entertain Impala at the University of Nairobi grounds. Kisumu plays Homeboys, while Black Blood hosts Nondis at the Kenyatta University grounds. All right, now Arsenal will be looking to extend their lead in the EPL when they visit Anfield tomorrow. The two teams seriously need maximum points, despite them likely to be without some of the dependable players. Fourth placed Liverpool will be without injured defenders Glenn Johnson and Daniel Aga, Mamadou Sahu, Jose Enrique and Lucas Leiva also out. Arsenal is still assessing midfielder Jack Wilshere, who is nearing a comeback from an ankle injury. Manchester City were 2 points adrift of Arsenal. They'll be looking to erase the narrow loss to Chelsea at home last weekend. In total, there'll be 8 matches on Sunday. Chelsea and Manchester City are both on 53 points, by City have a goal difference and will be away to Norwich City tomorrow. 5th placed Everton will not be in action until Sunday, but will be supporting Arsenal tomorrow. Manchester United hosts Fulham on Sunday as Tottenham play Everton.
KTN weather forecast in association with Mortein Doom Cockroach Killer.